I think one of the biggest mistakes that I ever made as a YouTube person is around 2014 or 2015. I decided to start a paid YouTube channel and produce videos over there. It was a huge mistake on my part. It was probably the biggest mistake I've ever made on YouTube. It was made out of desperation on what had happened leading up to that point. I had found out that my wife was very, very sick. She started having seizures. Had one day I was at home and she was in the other room ironing, I believe, and she just fell out, and I didn't realize. I heard something, but when I went to the other side of the house, I found her on the floor, and at that time I didn't know what was going on. But when I found her, I thought it might have been a seizure because there was some shaking still, but it was winding down. Later on that day it happened again, and she was diagnosed with epilepsy, although we never really found out exactly what was going on. We still don't know exactly what was going on, but it's treated with medicine, so she doesn't have them anymore, which is the important thing, although you always want to know, why is something happening. She's always been more, I won't say sickly, but she gets sick more often than most other people. So leading up to me making the paid YouTube channel, I was trying to think of ways. I gotta earn more money because we're gonna have issues. She went back to school 3 or 4 years before that to learn occupational therapy. She had her degree, she was able to practice, but then all of a sudden she can't drive anymore. She got a job at a middle school as an EC teacher, which is exceptional children's teacher. You have the severely autistic children and those with other learning disorders. She helped take care of them, which is a really great thing to do. And something I love about her is her ability to care for people that need that care. She was no longer able to do that, and she was no longer to help earn money. And with our family growing, we had 3 kids at that time. We had just come out of this whole economic thing from 2008. It was a tough time. I was under a lot of pressure. I put myself under a lot of pressure, and under that pressure, I made that huge mistake. I should have never done that. Whether it's just a lack of patience, I think it was a lack of patience or just a lack of forethought. It's not worth it. 3 or 4 years earlier, we had lost our home, and I'd always told myself I was never going to let that happen again. I was never going to get to that point. I'll do whatever I have to ensure that never happens again. It hasn't happened since then. We've had our hard times since then, but we've always been able to get through them, and we were always able to be okay. After this whole event happened, I learned from Mike Powless how to stream live, basically. There was some very rudimentary live streaming programs. He showed me a few of them. I got bitten by that bug. I thought it was really, really interesting, and I thought that I was suited for doing live streaming because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the excitement of it. I enjoyed the fact that people would be watching it in real time and enjoying it, hopefully enjoying a show. And just, I had that vitality that pre-recording something does not have. It's almost like the difference between being alive or being dead. It's alive and happening right there in a moment. You can interact, and I love that, and I fed off of it, and I enjoyed it. And as time went by, I did these live shows back in 2016 and 17, the Talon live show. Originally, for those of you who don't know, the name of the channel was Talon 875, going all the way back to when I was in a band named Talon, and my lucky number was 875 when I was a kid, because my best friend was 8, I was 7 years old, and my brother was 5 when we all met each other. That brother is now has a doctorate of mathematics. We've gone a long way, and that friend of mine is still around there. I think he lives in the same neighborhood that we ran in back then, and I'm not that far away from him. I'm half an hour away from him. It was special to me. But doing the live streams, I felt like, hey, that's something I enjoy. I enjoyed it, but I was also still in the field at the time. And as time went by, dealing with the health concerns that my family faced, and just burned out from HVAC business, because running an HVAC business, even when you're a one-man company, and maybe especially in some areas, it's stressful. It's very stressful, and it's uneven in its blessings, especially different times of year. You don't always do well, and I'm not a gifted businessman. I'm not like some of these other guys that step in there and they say, well, we're going to institute this program, we're going to pick up this flat rate, we're going to do this, this, and this. I was never like that. I always was concerned I was overcharging somebody. I wanted to make sure that I did a great job, and I spent too long on every call, and I didn't charge enough for every call, and I know that. And there's nothing commendable about doing that. It's not, you may think you're doing a noble thing in doing that, but you're not, because you have a family to take care of. And the Bible says those who can't take care of their family has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That's what the Bible says. When I read that years later, I was like, wow, that's true. A man needs to take care of his family in whatever way that he can, as long as it's a positive means. So in 2017, I created the Working Joe's podcast, which eventually became Shop Talk, which is what you guys listen to now, hopefully. And at that time, I was still in the field. I was still working in the field, but it had run its course, and I was hanging on. I was basically hanging on to it for a couple different reasons. I was hanging on to it because I wanted to make the podcast and the channel viable. I wanted to keep feeding it that material it needed. It's got to have that material. It's got to have that life source, or I thought it did. I thought that's what it had to be. Because my entire adult life, I'd been an HVAC technician, installer, and then company owner. My entire adult life, from when I was 14 onward, I've been associated with HVAC in one way, shape, or form or another. And all of a sudden, my value had to change. I valued myself as those things. That's how I earned money. That's how I survived. And now all of a sudden I'm running this podcast and I'm unable to work in the field, although I'm still struggling to do stuff in the field. I came back a couple years ago, right before the pandemic, and was doing some stuff in the field. Then the pandemic hits and kind of put a kibosh on that. And maybe that's for the better. Sometimes I think God intervenes and say, hey man, you have to stop. And that's what I feel like. I said, like, you gotta stop. This isn't who you are anymore. This is not what you are. Or maybe not who you are, but it's not what you do. I'll always be an HVAC technician, although I worry that, as time goes by, I worry that I won't be respected. I won't be respected because I had to give it up. And I won't be respected because as time goes by, less people will know me as such. I'm a podcast host, but my whole life was HVAC. But that life is getting farther and farther back as far as the technical field side of it. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I struggle with that even now, but I struggled with it over the last few years intensely, because I felt like, what am I doing? What am I doing if I don't have that vital link to the field? So I done different projects. I tried to branch out and do different things and go this way and go that way, all while trying to take care of my family, who struggling as well. Struggling with about a zillion different things going on, many of them health-wise, and a lot of them stressful. From autistic children to a sick wife to just everyday stuff, because everyday stuff becomes that too much. When you're already running at full capacity for dealing with stuff, and just minor things pop up, like the car breaks down, just simple things happen. You got to go back to the school to pick somebody up or whatever. It can push you over the edge. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I don't want to live like that. And I've made a promise to myself that whatever happens, happens. I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to, what I've done, and one of the reasons why I'm making this video is, let me just put it this way. I was on my YouTube channel. I looked at a video a couple years ago of myself AK and Brian Orr talking to each other, and I was like, this is great. I enjoyed this. This is wonderful. And I looked at it and I said, why did I get away from that? Why did I stop doing stuff just like this, where we had a great conversation? I made some extra bonus material every week. Why did I get away from it? And the conclusion I came to is because I was frantic. I was worried, and in my worry, I went too many directions and couldn't find my footing. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should just come in there every day, stream live, and take your phone calls. I didn't know if I should do it once a week. I was lost, and things happened to make me even more lost. You know, I was struggling with this, and my sister passes away. And for some reason, that affected me greatly. I don't know why. I know it's my sister. You say, well, it's your sister, Zach. But it just seemed like it had a ripple effect throughout other parts of my life that I didn't understand. And then we had a tragic event. You know, thankfully no one passed. We had a tragic event last couple months, and it changes your outlook on things. It changes how you look at the world and how you look at your struggles and your successes, because it puts it all into proportion. The conclusion that I've come to is that I have to do a good job at what I'm doing for you guys, because you have to want to watch this and enjoy it. And all the mistakes I've made, I'll have to ask your forgiveness for. There's nothing else I can do about it. I can't change anything that I've done in the past. I can't change. I just can't change any of it. I can't do anything about it. I need to stop trying to convince myself and convince other people that it never occurred, because it did. The things that I've done occurred. Things that have happened. I can't do anything about it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a show, and I have put together a show tomorrow that I hope is the first of many that is a new era. Something that I can borrow some from the past, in the fact that I'm going to bring back some of your favorite people to see interviewed and talked to, ask them some good questions, have a good conversation, have some fun, learn some, but have some fun. Learn about the people of our trade, and that's really one of my main interests. It's been that way for a long time. I've always been interested in the people that do the work, because that's the only truly individual thing that we have, is the people. The work remains the same, but the people are all different in how they perceive their lives, how they deal with things. That's always interested me. And I want to make you guys laugh. And you know, I recorded a new HVAC fake news for tomorrow. And for those of you who don't know, I used to put together these news segments that would have 4 or 5 things that are happening in the world of HVAC, and none of them are true, or I just make fun of Goodman, because that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy making fun of Goodman. I'm sorry, but I just love it. I love making fun of Goodman. They make it easy. So. But you know, record some educational stuff, record some stuff for new guys, record some stuff about dealing with life in the trade, and just put it all together in the best way possible, and hope that you guys want to watch it. That's all I can do. There's so many people out there that are doing podcasts and doing live streams and stuff like that, and I don't want to be lost in the shuffle, because this is what I do, and I want to make sure it's special and done really, really well. And I get caught up in the fact that if you put a lot of effort into this, it takes the authenticity out of it. It's not right. That's not true. You have to put effort into something. You have to put something together, because if I don't do that, it's no service to you guys and gals out there watching, because you don't get anything out of it. I want to put together something professional, in so much as that it's done in a way that's not going to waste your time, that's going to give you a good laugh, or you're going to learn something, or at least be caught up in a good conversation. And that requires planning, and requires a lot of technical planning for sure, as I look at all the monitors here and everything. But I hope that you appreciate it. I hope you give me a shot. Coming back tomorrow night, for those of you watching Friday night, we're going to have Ted Cook, anti-DIY HVAC. Ted is a genuine good guy, underneath all that, David Crosby look. He's a good guy underneath all the Hemi motors and Harley Davidsons or whatever he rides. I don't know. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry. But Ted's a good fella, and I'm going to talk to him. We're going to have some fun segments, and I hope you guys join me and give me a shot. Those of you who might have been away from the channel for a while, for whatever reason, give it a shot. Come back. I hope you enjoy it, and give me some feedback in the live chat. Email me, hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. Text me at 910-970-0043. And I just want to thank you. Nothing I do is successful unless you guys enjoy it. You like videos, you comment on videos. Nothing I do is going to be going anywhere if it's not for you. So thank you, and I hope I see you tomorrow night.